Thermal paste vs thermal pad. Which is better, thermal pads or thermal paste? Each has its pros and cons, so let's review those. Number 1. Thermal paste. Thermal paste or cooling paste is a sticky mass that is the most common thermally conductive material applied between the heatsink and the CPU. High-quality pastes achieve the best performance when it comes to dissipating and transferring heat. Thermal paste adheres for a very long time and is a very good option when it comes to heat dissipation to the heatsink. A layer of thermal paste ensures that the component surface is completely wetted. Since thermal paste is a viscous liquid, it fills all micro depressions on the component or on the underside of the heatsink. This results in a much better heat dissipation to the heatsink. Number 2. Thermal pads. Thermal pads are a lot easier to install than thermal paste. The pads are already included with some heatsinks, as they can be attached cleanly and without any problems, and even newcomers will not have any problems here. Thermal pads are also preferred in industry. Unfortunately, the thermal conductivity is not always as good as that of the thermal paste. However, very small gaps will still remain between the processor and the thermal pad. These small air gaps ensure a slightly lower thermal conductivity, as air is less heat conductive. It should be noted that thermal pads are a one-time solution. Number 3. Durability. In terms of service life, some designs are expected to last for decades under harsh operating conditions. Using thermal paste to dissipate the heatsink outperforms any pad and is the more robust option in terms of wear resistance. In contrast to this, a heat conduction pad becomes brittle over time under repeated alternating thermal stress, which can interrupt the heat conduction path between the heatsink and the component. This is simply due to the material used in these products. Thermal paste or thermal grease adheres and solidifies after application. Thermal pads, on the other hand, consist of a sponge-like material or soft, rubbery material. Thermal paste is more durable and cheaper. This applies in particular to recurring temperature cycles. Number 4. Which provides better coverage? Realistically, there's never going to be a perfectly level foundation. There are too many outside influences and factors that are entirely within our control. But I still had to get it to a point for others to pour concrete all over and erect a fantastic foundation that will last for years to come. Now imagine that concrete as a thermal paste or thermal grease that you pour over your CPU. This paste will fill all your micro bumps exceptionally well. This is one of the advantages of using a thermal pad versus thermal paste. The thermal adhesive will hold for a very long time, and it will be a far superior option when it comes to heat transfer or thermal conductivity to your heatsink. A layer of thermal paste or thermal grease will form a complete coating over the top of the component. Because it is a thick liquid, it will fill in all the gaps on the component and the bottom of the heatsink. This provides much better heat transfer to the heatsink.